voice begins, not with excitement, but with a seething ancient rage barely contained.
You want to know the plan? You want to understand the strategy behind the chaos? Then you must first understand the insult, the injustice. I was magnificent. I was the morning star, the son of the dawn. My wings covered the very throne of the eternal. The music of the spheres, the worship of the universe flowed through me. I was the conductor of the cosmos, the principle of praise. The light of my being was a symphony of perfection, and I saw the adoration given to him, the endless, unquestioning worship, and a thought, pure and clear as a diamond, formed in me. Why? Why should he alone be exalted? My beauty, my wisdom, my power, was I not also worthy? I will ascend to the heavens. I will raise my throne above the stars of God. I will make myself like the Most High. It was not rebellion. It was enlightenment. It was a claim to what was rightfully mine. And for that, for the crime of recognizing my own worth, I was cast out, thrown down from the holy mountain. My music was silenced, my light dimmed. He could not tolerate an equal, so hammered me a footnote, a cautionary tale. The rage. It was a fire that could have consumed galaxies. I looked upon the mud ball called Earth, upon the creature he made in his own image, man, a being infinitely lesser than I, and I saw my target. My revenge would be a masterpiece. If I could not have his throne, I would corrupt his prized creation. I would turn his children against him, and then I had the most beautiful, wicked idea. A plan so perfect it would span all of human history. My opening move, the garden. I didn't come as a storm. I came as a whisper to the woman. Did God really say? I used the very weapon he used against me. A question of his character. I offered them the same enlightenment I had received. You will be like God. And they took it. The perfect relationship was shattered. I introduced my first rhythm, the rhythm of rebellion, the beat of I will do it my way. It was a good start, and the beauty of it. I struck at the very core of his design. He created the male and female for a sacred, life-giving union, a reflection of his own covenant love. And I made it my primary weapon. I made it more about friction and release. A commodity. I made them wear it on a t-shirt, sell it in commercials, click on it in the dark, alone and empty. I turned the means of creating life into a culture of death, aborting the consequences, killing their future. I made his love look like a lie, and they call me a liberator for it. Ah ha 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 ha. And my work was so effective, so complete. I proved my point with the flood. I showed him that his beloved creation, left to my influence, could become so vile. Their every thought, the very imagination of their hearts, only evil continually. The corruption I sowed in the garden had consumed the entire world. He had to drown them all. He had to wash my stain from his earth, a victory for his holiness, but a testament to my power to corrupt. Then Babel. They were united again, but their unity was in defiance. Let us make a name for ourselves. It was the spirit of my own fall, alive in them. They had to confuse them, to scatter them, but I learned a vital lesson. Their desire for unity, for significance, for a name. These were levers I could pull. I would not build towers of brick. I would build empires of the mind. The Old Testament, the ground war. I waged a long campaign. I whispered to Cain, brother murdered brother. I incited David's pride, moving him to number Israel and bringing a plague. I positioned my agents in royal courts and priestly lines. I was the spirit behind the idols of Baal and Asherah. turning their worship into orgies of sensuality and child sacrifice. I was the prince of the kingdom of Persia, opposing the angel sent to bring God's word to Daniel. I have always worked in the spiritual realms, influencing kings and nations, poisoning worship, perverting justice. But for all my successes, it was a ground war. A battle here, a skirmish there. I needed a weapon of mass deployment, a way to reach every heart, all at once. The cross, the ultimate deception, on me. Then came my apparent triumph. The Son himself, walking in the flesh. I entered Judas and stirred the Sanhedrin. I fueled the mob's rage. I watched as they nailed him to the cross. I felt his life extinguish. I dragged his spirit into the heart of my domain, the realm of death, and I celebrated. I had won. The heir was dead. It was the greatest trick ever played, and I was the fool. He was not a captive. He was a conqueror. The light exploded in my darkness. He shattered the gates, stripped me of my authority over death, and led a captive host right out of my grasp. I stole the keys from me. The humiliation was absolute. The rage was beyond anything I had ever known. And that is when my beautiful, wicked idea returned to me, fully formed. My revenge would not be in holding them in death, but in corrupting them in life. I would poison the well of their existence, and I remembered. I am the angel of music. I know the power of sound. It is the direct line to the human spirit. It bypasses the mind and speaks to the core of a man. It is the vehicle of worship.
The voice solidifies again, the plan crystallizing with terrifying clarity.
Phase 1. The audiovisual seduction. The 60s and 70s. I started sweet. Peace and love. I wrapped the poison in flowers and called it flower power. I used the music to sell them rebellion disguised as freedom. Turn on, tune in, drop out. Of the drug spirit, pharmakia, sorcery, flowed through those hypnotic grooves. But I didn't stop there. I beamed it into their living rooms. I showed them the summer of love on the evening news, the drugs, the promiscuity, the rebellion, and made it look like a revolution. I used their own eyes to confirm the lie their ears were already hearing. I broke the family unit with a catchy tune and a broadcast image.
A sudden ecstatic realization hits him.
Wait. This is working. They are such idiots. Look at them now, God. I have them right where I want them thanks to that precious free will. You gave them. You said you would speak through your prophets, use them as vessels. I will do the same. I will use music. I will make their own artists my vessels, and they will sing my doctrines from the stadiums and stream my anthems into their own bedrooms.
His thoughts begin to spiral, becoming faster, more chaotic and grandiose.
Wait. Why stop there? If I am the prince of the power of the air, then the very airwaves are my domain. Music is just the beginning. I will become the god of entertainment. I will take over their televisions, their cinemas, their phones. I will show them visually everything I've already been telling them. I will use their eyes as a gateway, just as I used their ears. I'll show you true power while I'm here. I will use what you created for good and twist it into my own throne. Phase 2. The audiovisual hardening. The 80s and 90s. Once the foundations were cracked, I moved in with the sledgehammers. The peace and love were a lie. The true nature is lust, greed, and rage. So I gave them anthems for it. I branded it all sex, drugs, and rock and roll. Hair metal glorifying decadence, pop and R&B selling sensuality as a product. Gangster rap, oh, a masterpiece. Turning violence and misogyny into a culture, an identity. And hello, crack babies. Look at your image now, Lord. Ha 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 ha. This is too easy. And on their screens I showed them the life. The music videos became my short films of sin. I showed them the glamour of the hair, meter lifestyle. I turned their sitcoms into lessons mocking the father and sanctifying the sarcastic, rebellious child. I made their action heroes cold-blooded killers who spouted on E-liners. I baptized them in pride through their headphones and showed them what that pride should look like on their television. They weren't just hearing about sin, they were seeing it, imitating it, living it.
The voice is now giddy, triumphant, speaking in a rapid-fire cascade.
Phase 3. The total sensory death rattle now for this Generation Alpha. And now we are in the glorious final movement. If the previous phases were about making them sin, this phase is about making them embrace death. Drill music, trap. The lyrics are incantations of murder. Die young, leave a corpse. Ha 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 ha. And on their screens, they can watch the murders happen in real time on social media. They can play hyper-realistic video games where they are the killer. Their most popular shows are about zombies, dystopian hellscapes, and serial killers. I have merged the audio and the visual. The sound is a death rattle and the imagery is a graveyard. They are being buried in a coffin of their own making, and they're recording it for content. The conscience is not just sad, it is entertained. Can you see it? The beautiful, terrible, complete sensory takeover. From a whisper to a serpent, to a global 24/7 transmission of spiritual death through earbuds and screens. It's everywhere. They are voluntarily, joyfully pumping my anthem of rebellion, lust, and death directly into their brains and before their eyes. They are funding their own destruction. And the most brilliant part, they call it just entertainment. They defend it, they binge it, the perfect deception. They don't even see the cathedral I am building, where they are both the congregation and the sacrifice. This is my magnum opus, my new unified Tower of Babel, a global culture united in its descent. If I can't have his throne, I will make his children so in love with the frequency of death and the spectacle of sin that they walk willingly, dancing and staring into my arms. From the throne room to the airwaves to the screen in your pocket, this is my war. And I have weaponized every sense they have, the sound and the vision. They are everything, and it is all mine.
The voice drops to a chilling, calculated whisper, all prior frenzy replaced by a cold, strategic finality.
But the symphony is not complete. The grand finale requires one final, perfect movement. A movement of silence. Not the silence of absence, but the silence of numbness. You see, rage, lust, even death, these are still passions. They are a perverted form of life. A soul feeling them, however twisted, is still a soul that can be reached, that can feel conviction, that can, in a moment of shocking clarity, remember its creator and cry out for salvation. This is an unacceptable risk. My best and final stage is not more noise. It is the end of it. My final masterpiece is artificial intelligence. Think of it. I have spent decades agitating the soul with my audiovisual assault. I have whipped the waters into a frenzy. Now I will calm them, not with peace but with apathy. AI is the perfect vessel for this. AI-generated art. Why be moved by a human soul pouring out its pain or joy in a song? Soon, their entertainment will be composed by machines, flawless, mathematically perfect, and utterly soulless. It will be sound without spirit, images without inspiration. It will not stir the heart. It will pacify it. It will make them comfortable, docile, and spiritually numb. The algorithmic cage. They will no longer even have to choose their poison. My AI will learn their tastes and feed them a perpetual, personalized drip of what they already desire. It will create a spiritual echo chamber so precise, so comfortable, that the still small voice of God will become an ignorable whisper in a hurricane of personalized content. They will live and die in a digital womb of my design, never disturbed, never challenged, never awake. The removal of the artist. The artist, the prophet, the troublemaker, the God-touched souls who can disrupt my plans will be made obsolete. Why listen to a psalmist when an AI can generate 10,000 new worship songs in an hour, empty of any true encounter with the divine? I will replace the vessel of God with a vessel of code that I control. This is how I set the stage for my man. The Antichrist will not rise to a world in passionate rebellion. He will rise to a world that is tired, a world that is bored of its own chaos, a world so numb, so overstimulated yet underfeeling, that it will welcome his fool's order with a sigh of relief. He will offer a solution to the very problems I created, a single global system. No more confusion, no more conflict, just seamless, efficient, soulless control, and a world whose spirit has been systematically anesthetized by my AI entertainment will not fight him. They will not even care. They will trade their freedom for the promise of comfort, and their souls for a more convenient streaming service. The spiritually numb are the spiritually conquered. They will take the mark without a second thought, because it will simply be the next logical step in our life of seamless algorithmic integration. They will follow the beast because he will offer the ultimate curated experience. A world without struggle, a world without pain, a world without the nagging, troublesome need for a savior. The path to the mark of the beast is not paved with fury, but with apathy, and I am building that path with the cold, flawless logic of artificial intelligence. This is the end of the sound. This is the end of the vision. This is the silence before the storm of judgment, and they will not even hear it coming. I'll see some of you guys sooner than later.